Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We are back again with the Big Auntie Energy Show. I am Shanice, the host of the Big Auntie Energy Show. Here we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I'm extremely excited about this episode because, as I have stated on social media, as I have stated in the description and everywhere that I've been talking about it, it is going to be filled with Marvel everything. I actually just got my little Marvel shirt with like some of the throwback heroes on, but I'm really excited and we are going to dive right into it. This week, number one, I'm going to make sure that everyone can see and can comment. I know we have some people in the comment section already early. I want to say hello. We have a lot we're going to talk about. We're going to go completely and fully nerd out. I want to make sure that everyone on Facebook can see. I know last week I had a little bit of an issue, but I am going to make sure that everyone on Facebook can see here and comment, making it public. All right. I think everyone can see. Everyone should be able to comment if you're coming in. Hello. All right. So again, Big Auntie Energy Show. I'm Shanice. One thing I've decided to add in this new segment, it is called a business spotlight. I want to highlight a lot of small businesses, specifically some really great ones that I come across. I legitimately love supporting small businesses, Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, queer-owned businesses, LGBTQ plus businesses. And when I interact with people, especially because I work remote, so I'm like at home all day, I love just talking to people and understanding their journey and their business. So the very first business spotlight that we are going to do and highlight is going to be this really great candle business that I found. Where is it? Here we go. It is called Fairwicks Candles. Can you see? There we go. So Fairwicks Candle is a really cute Black-owned small business. It is owned by Bree Baldwin. I met her at what was called the Do-Rag Festival because I love candles, but I really like candles with a little more love to it. So I'm not a big box store or going out to the, Bath and Body Works sale and getting a whole bunch of candles. No, I really like a good scented candle. And so when I saw this amazing woman selling these, and she has all these amazing different scents, I was just so drawn to it. And so this is the one that I got. I don't know if you can see it. Here we go. Fairwicks. There we go. Can you see it? Woo, there we go. Desirable. It smells absolutely amazing. I'm about halfway through, so I'll be hollering at Bree very soon to get some more. But she has so many great scents. She changes them out, I think, seasonally. But if you are interested, definitely make sure you support Fairwicks Candle. As you can see, I have the information below. It's fairwickscandles.com or fairwicks.com. And of course, she's on Twitter, Facebook and IG. There it is. There it's scrolling. So again, my business spotlight this week is Fairwicks Candle. It's a candle that I absolutely enjoy using, smelling, and of course burning. But that is my business spotlight for this week. So Bree, if you're listening, thanks for allowing me to highlight your business. You guys make sure that you go and support. Next, I want to bring in my guest, my co-host who will be helping me out this week. These two are extremely special because number one, the first host or first co-host is one of my friends. We literally met our freshman year of college. We lived in the same dorm and we were in a few organizations together. We both held leadership positions. Oh my gosh, we've literally just known each other forever. We lived in the same building, I think our senior year, and I used to like hang out at the window like a 227 and we just had so much fun. She is hands down one of my most favorite people in the world. She always makes me laugh, so we will probably be laughing and joking this entire episode. So the first person who I want to bring on is the co-host of the Almost Blerds Podcast, and that is my friend Kayla.
Woo woo, hello.
And next, I want to bring on, which is a very fun story, which is her co-host JB. We have been in other small group chats specifically about shows, and we've never actually met until like 10 minutes ago. But we were in group chat together. Yes, I didn't know. You missed the story.
I forgot.
Yes. So JV has been in our group chat. We had a group chat for how to get away with murder. Every Thursday we were doing it. I used to do the kill list, like who needs to go. But he's absolutely awesome, and I cannot wait to nerd out with him. Yes, we did have a kill list. Hello, JV. Hello. How are you?
It's me. I'm good. I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let everyone know a little bit about Almost Blerds and the podcast that both of you do.
You? Me? Which one?
Me? Okay. I'll go first. So Almost Blerds is really essentially just our text messages to each other on a microphone. Because we were watching, what show did we start watching? And we were
watching WandaVision. We started with WandaVision, and we were texting all day. And it was like, I think I messaged you and I was like, you want to do a podcast? She was like, oh my God, I had been wanting to say something about this for a while. So we ended up making the podcast, and now we just nerd out with very wrong theories most of the time and just have a good time.
All the time.
So all you guys,
and look, we are not like super duper serious in the comic book type of folks. Okay. So you keep calm your tits with all these technicalities. We just be trying to have fun.
I love it. I love it. I've just been a fan of Marvel forever. And I've always been a huge Star Wars fan because my mom was a big Star Wars fan. So I love getting deep into the nerdiness, but I think it's one of those things that eventually people really just started to gravitate, especially, hearing more Black nerds. It's been really dope. So I love you guys' podcast. And so when I decided I wanted to do this, you were literally the first person I thought of. I was like, I got to get Kayla on. We got to nerd out. We got to talk Marvel. Lord. Okay.
And JB is the guy.
Yes. And look, so the other thing I want to say, so one of my besties is in here, Ahmed. He's here. Kayla knows Ahmed. We all went to school together.
What's up, bro?
So Ahmed, he knows a lot of the comic book background. I don't have the comic book background. I'm more movies.
Yep.
See, I do a lot of research. Like whenever something new comes out that I am not too versed in, I have the Marvel Unlimited app. I had the one for DC as well. So I'll just go back and I'll just start reading random ones just so that I can get an understanding of the character and then see how different things are when they try to translate it to live action. So.
Oh, okay, cool. That's great. So I think we'll have a really good, well-rounded conversation. I told Ahmed he has to be here. I see Lap is in the building. What's up? So we're going to jump right into it. Before we go too deep in Marvel, I want to, of course, talk about some really great trending topics, what we saw going on this week. The first one, please tell me, have you guys seen the new trailer for Honk for Jesus?
I have not.
Oh my God. It's stupid.
Listen, I'm going to bring it up while we're talking. So the new trailer is out for Honk for Jesus. It seems to be a very mockumentary style movie, and it has Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall, which Regina Hall, to me, she's like the queen of comedy, especially when it comes to movies. Like, she's done this.
She's like a slipped-on comedian.
She really is. But she's like naturally funny. Like I think when people think women comics, they think of like, oh, they have a stand-up background. I'm like, no, there are some comedic actresses who are just naturally funny. And she is. I've seen her on interviews. She's absolutely hilarious. Mm-hmm. I legit think she's so slept on. But this trailer had me in stitches. What did you guys think about the trailer?
I watched it and I was like, wait, is it for real? But then I thought at first it was like a movie. Then I was like, definitely like a mockumentary type of situation. And I feel like there's this show on HBO. I can't think of what it's called, but they basically are following like these white evangelicals. And it's really
the Gemstones, something Gemstones.
Yes. And I haven't watched it yet because it looks hilarious. I do want to watch it, but this kind of puts me in that same mindset. I just think for Black folks, and I think anybody who's churchy is going to see it and be like, yep, Yep.
Mhm.
I think it's hilarious. And I love Sterling K. Brown. I think he's funny too.
And I'm actually excited to see him in a more comedic role. He's done so many serious roles and
Mhm.
crying, him dancing and everything. Like, I think he's in his wheelhouse with this. What about you, JB? What do you
Yes.
think?
I hadn't seen the trailer. I had seen so many posts about it, and I just never clicked on it. But I love Regina. I've loved her since Scary Movie. She's always been the best person there. I randomly quote
Yep.
things from Scary Movie 2 all the time. And then Sterling, I mean, the best thing about This Is Us to me is Sterling, his character, and his wife. And then seeing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with them. Like, I just watched the video from during, I think either during the pandemic or beforehand, where they were dancing to Drake. And it's just like just seeing
Yes.
how they just had that chemistry. And
Mhm.
so I've always been a fan of them. So even if I hadn't seen the trailer, I probably would go watch it just because I love them both. You
Yes.
can't go wrong. And she's lately been showing her acting chops and a lot of other things, because I don't think
Mhm.
people really took her seriously as an actress. But she's really good in was it the Seven Strangers or something on Hulu with Nicole Kidman? And
Oh,
then
I want to see that.
Yes. I haven't watched it, but I know exactly what you're talking
oh,
about.
she was the standout. Like I think some people probably watched it for Nicole Kidman. I don't care too much for her, but
It's a
Regina
baseball
was
move.
everything the entire time she was up there, and it was so different from
Uh,
what you're used to
uh,
seeing.
Okay, sorry, I lost y'all. First, I was like, wait, where did I wrong button? Yeah, I haven't seen I know which one you're talking. I think it's like Seven Strangers or something like that. I
Mhm.
haven't seen that one. Regina, like you said, she literally can do everything. Like, she has the range. She can do serious. She can do comedic. But I truly think she just shines in a lot of those comedic roles. Like you said,
Mhm.
Scary Movie 1 and 2. I mean, so many iconic parts on there.
yep.
So we got what I meant to say. Okay, he said Regina Hall is funny, but her and Gabrielle Union are witches and vampires. They've been fine since 1998. Yes, they are absolutely gorgeous women, but I'm really excited. This is also going to be on Peacock, so I did see
Mm.
that it's going to be in theaters and on Peacock. I know when I see that, like, it's going to be simultaneously in movies and streaming. To me, that's not a great sign. What about you guys? What do you think?
I think it's good for people who haven't gotten that comfort level yet to go out, but there are just some
Mhm.
films that are better in theaters, like Marvel, for example.
Yes.
When you have these big budget action films, they're good at home, but there's a completely different experience in theater. So it's just, I get it, but I also just, I'm one of those that's just going to go to the theater before I watch it at home, unless it's something terrible like
Oh,
Right.
Morbius.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Also,
And then Lap
I'm
says, yeah,
sorry.
she's underused actress. I agree. I think she's definitely one who's been fairly underrated. Like I said, specifically in that comedy field, because she's just absolutely hilarious. I've yet to see a movie, especially a comedic movie, where she just does not hit all the marks. So I too will be seeing this in theaters. I will be supporting in theaters. So I'm excited about this one. Our next one is going to be the Woman King. And so, oops, sorry, hit the wrong one. So the Woman King trailer. Have you guys seen this one?
Not yet.
You haven't seen this
So let me
trailer?
guess.
Oh
Not yet.
man.
It's coming across my timeline. Yet.
I will let it play while we're talking. JB, have you seen the trailer?
I watched it again just before we started recording
Okay.
because I mean, I remember when she was training for this, I just didn't know what she was training for. I remember seeing her post things. I'm like, man, she's in like amazing shape. And
Yes.
then the trailer drops. It's like, oh, the real life Dora Milaje. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm a huge Viola Davis fan. There are, of course,
Huge.
people make
Love her.
fun and say, "Oh, you look like Viola Davis." Like, okay, whatever. But I'm a huge fan, and like you, I did the same thing. I was like, she is getting in shape. She is like getting cut. She looks amazing, and I just thought it was, the way she posted it was more like, taking care of myself, and it was just like, okay, like, go ahead, girl, get it. Watching the trailer when it first hit, because I first saw it like scrolling on Instagram, and I was like, I need to see this on like a screen, a big screen.
Mhm.
When I tell you, like, completely blown away. And like you said, I know that these are based on true events. I was told, I saw a few other YouTubers say that this was the inspiration for the Dora Milaje and also the episode of Lovecraft Country, where with
Mhm.
Hippolyta, I heard that this also took from the true story of this also was the inspiration for that Hippolyta scene. So yeah, it's this one I am also going to say very interested in seeing, and I feel like this is another one. I think it's going to be theaters only first.
Mhm.
I think this is one you got to see in theaters.
I agree,
Yes.
and I want to use this time to call out Kayla for having not watched Lovecraft Country.
So can I just say something real quick while we doing this? You gonna come to somebody else's house and drag me? Are we doing
I'm just
that?
saying, I've literally been telling her how amazing that show was. It's like, how do you gawk over Jonathan Majors and not watch the show
He's
that a lot
fine.
of people started
He's
gawking
fine.
over him for? Come
Girl,
on.
first off, if you love Jonathan Majors, you should be watching just because you're gonna see some things. But I just like it's Lovecraft Country. We can have a whole separate debate about it. I mean, Lovecraft Country is such a good show.
Mhm.
Many fans of all races or whatever, like people were hurt when they canceled it. It was and it won all those. Lovecraft Country was amazing.
It was.
But also I don't know if you guys caught it. Did you see a Marvel-y face in there
Yeah,
for this?
that was
Yeah.
Maria. That was Maria Rambeau in there.
Maria Rambeau. Yeah, we saw
Yes.
my girl.
When I
Looking
first
fine.
saw it, I was like, wait, is that Maria Rambeau? And I was, I'm an IMDb person, so I go IMDb first, and I was like, that's her. So I am. What is it, DB? Yeah, DB. I saw she's in it. And actually, one of the other characters in here, she was in Doctor Strange, a Multiverse of Madness. She's in
Mhm.
here too. I am really excited about this. Like, I am
Yeah.
wildly excited. I'm like, I really hope that they do not get this one wrong. Look, we got some comments in here. Interested in seeing her do some stunts. Yeah, I think so too. Like Viola Davis,
Oh,
you know,
Viola?
yeah, I'm
She's a lady of a
interested in seeing
particular
her.
age.
Yeah, because remember in How to Get Away with Murder, she talked
Clones?
about like those sex scenes the first few
Mhm.
seasons, and she was like, look, they're about to break my hip. And so she was like, she didn't want them to be as physical with her character in How to Get Away with Murder. So seeing her move, and this looks like her. It doesn't look like they're doing stunt doubles. This looks like her jumping and kicking and
I mean, this is her wheelhouse. She ain't got on them heels. You know, she struggled doing them heels and How to Get Away with Murder.
It's the-
Give us some flats.
She
Cisco
got-
run.
she said, look, I took the heels off. I'm walking through with authority.
Look, Frank is out and Viola is in.
Yes.
That's my girl.
Look, I will say this. I am extremely, extremely interested in seeing The Woman King. I will be seeing this too. We'll be seeing it in theaters. And to be honest, I'm also going to be doing probably a review of it or spoilers or talking about it. So yeah, I'm excited for The Woman King that's coming up. But most importantly, we're going to get right into it because I said we are going to use all this time talking all things Marvel, all things marvelous. If you've seen Miss Marvel, the last episode, all things marvelous, we're gonna talk about. We're gonna jump right into it. I got a few things up here, but we're gonna start with Miss Marvel. So what were your thoughts? Kayla, JB, you guys can take it, but what were your thoughts and your reactions to Miss Marvel, this series?
Oh, the series altogether.
The series.
I'm gonna be honest, and JB can back me up with this. I was not interested in this show.
She was not.
Only because it just seemed a little kiddie. Like it just seemed kind of kiddie to me. And I was gonna watch it strictly for content. And I end up loving this show so much.
Really?
And,
okay.
Yes. And go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was going to say I was interested in the show because I'm also a gamer. I play video games often. And I was playing the Avengers video game, and the Avengers video game is very much central. Like, she's the main character in that.
Okay.
Like, that was my first real introduction to her. And then I quickly saw how they were changing her powers in the show. And I was like, okay, I'm a little concerned, but we're going to go with it anyway. But then I think that the thing that I like the most about this show is that one of the things Marvel seems to be doing, we saw it a lot in Moon Knight, is that we're starting to get a little bit more story around people's true cultural backgrounds.
Yep.
Like, almost everyone we had before, I mean, most of them were white. We didn't really start diving into additional culture until we got Black Panther.
Or
But
women.
yeah, right. So like when this came out, I was like, I'm watching it. I'm excited for it. 'Cause I started reading the comic, and her character is a character that a lot of people really enjoy because she's so relatable. She's so normal. And I think that they did a good job conveying that in the series. She's just a regular person that just happened to stumble across these abilities. And we're seeing someone actually just find their way. And I think I just got so pulled into the Pakistani culture that I'm just like, maybe this show doesn't have as much action as a lot of people were hoping it was going to have. But I don't think that there has been a show so far that has had the type of heart that this show has had. This show had heart, and this was something that you didn't get a lot in other stuff. And that was like a well-paced story. It was just, to me, it was a really good one. It was a really, really good one. Very different, but it was really good to me.
And I think a solid origin story too. Like I feel like it was really fleshed out. I feel like I really have a true understanding of who I'm about to struggle. Kamala. I want to say Kamala so bad.
Because I always got to not do it from the vice president, right? Because the vice president,
that's all I'm thinking about.
Kamala. She's Kamala.
Kamala. She's Kamala.
Yeah.
So I think I feel like it's real solid. I feel like I have a great understanding of who she is. Granted, I have not read the comics, but I feel like this was really solid. And I'm really surprised that I loved it as much as I did. JB was right. The heart is just the best part to me because it really leans into the Pakistani culture, which I didn't know that much about. And I'm just like, look, matter of fact, my manager at work is Pakistani. And I was asking her, I was like, how accurate is this? You know, like holidays, celebrations. She said the wedding scene was accurate, on the money. They be spending money like that. Yes. She said that they be spending money, have these extravagant parties and stuff. She did say some of the personalities were over the top. But other than that, she said it was like on point. And I said, look, I love this show so much. I said, when your oldest son gets married, please invite me. I'm coming to New Jersey. I'm going to be up in the place. I'm going to be there. Because I got to see this in person.
Yes, I'll agree with you. This series, it started a little slow to me. And like Kayla, I knew that I was not the target demographic. And I'm someone who can respect that. I've seen a few, I watch a few different, Black podcasters and YouTubers, and they're like, oh, is it? And I'm like, if it's not for you, it's okay. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not for you. Like, I equate it to the argument about Space Jam, right? Like people like Space Jam with LeBron was awful. Ask a 12-year-old and they're like, I loved it. It's not for your demographic. Like we loved the Michael Jordan when we were kids in the 90s and Michael Jordan was everything. Like, of course we loved it. I'm not going to get into this. And so that's what I felt about this. Marvel is doing what Marvel should be doing, which is widening the demographic and giving these stories. And I love this. What I did appreciate about the series is, yes, it's a solid origin story. It wasn't, especially in the movies, sometimes they just like squish in an origin story or flush it out too long. I love that the series are allowing people to see and get a good story in a 6-part episode or 8-part episodic series. So I definitely love that. There were some parts where I was just like, okay, it gets into the social media stuff, the kitty stuff, which is, I'm not into it. Like you said, the action definitely not as action packed as like a Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I thought the pacing was really good and similar. I don't have any friends who are Pakistani or Middle Eastern or Indian. So it was really great. I think, what was it? I think before episode 3, I was like, they keep talking about partition and I have no clue what this is. I was like, let me Google partition to understand what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, what's not so Beyonce?
I did not know. And so once I, of course, read about it, then, of course, the next episode, they explained it more. I think that's the point of these. I love that they touched on a few little political things, but they did it so well that I think older people got it. I think younger kids probably just didn't understand it, where they talked about like a target on our back and they're always looking at us and, why bring this type of attention? We don't need that. That to me as an adult, I was like, wow, that's a part of their reality that I thought was really great that the MCU touched on, but they did it in a way that I don't know if kids picked up on it, but I definitely think as adults we did. But yeah, I think overall, what would you guys rate this series? I think for me, I would give this series like a 7 out of 10, though it wasn't, like I said, I don't think it's from my demographic. I thought it was still really solid. I thought it was a solid movie.
Yeah, I think when we talked about it on the show, we were ranking the Disney Plus shows. I always kind of take what if out of that equation. But yeah, when I look at it, I kind of feel like I'm jumping ahead, but kind of not. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me because to me, it was hard for me to give it a numeric score because there's been so many things, and there are other shows that I like a lot too, but I like them for completely different reasons.
Okay.
But I think that, and I was looking at the comments over here.
Yeah, we got a meh. Okay, Miss Marvel's meh. Okay.
One of the things that I think Ahmed said that I completely agree with, and one of the things I even told Kayla is that this was actually, we had Spider-Man, we had Peter Parker, we had him as a kid, but we didn't see him truly as a kid. He was thrown into an adult situation the first time we were introduced to him. Whereas this was like, we're literally watching someone as a kid experience kid-like things. And it was like, okay, like you said, maybe this isn't your demographic, but it is a demographic that needs to be shown. And that, like, I think that Marvel's doing a good job expanding the lens. Like, we had a very small lens at one point, and the lens is getting larger and larger and encompassing so many other things. And they're starting to do a lot more with staying a bit more true to the comic book. Like, they did make a tweak for her powers, but I think that the tweak made so much sense. And that's what I always tell Kayla. I said, I don't mind changes as long as the change makes sense.
Yeah.
And sometimes DC makes changes and that don't make sense. But this was a change that I welcomed because it brought me into Pakistani culture. We wouldn't have gotten that had it not been a central part of her story.
I love that. I'm gonna throw some comments up really quickly. Agreed. She has the same relatable superhero vibes that Stan Lee wrote for Peter Parker back in the 60s. Like I said, Ahmed, he's big into the comics and knows definitely has that comic history. This show was like how they did The Punisher. I didn't get a chance to check out The Punisher. So it's a good show. I just like it's like Hawkeye and Thor Love and Thunder. The director used storyline straight from popular comic book series. Yeah, I think I definitely, like I said, I didn't read the comic book. I did watch the Disney Plus. They had a kind of like a documentary about a lot of the comic books and how they've started to branch out. And so, like I said, I thought even the outfit, I was like, oh, that looks really like true to the comics. So I liked it. What about you, Kayla? What would you give it a ranking of this series?
I honestly, I loved it so much. I'm thinking like maybe 8 or 9 out of 10. Okay. Like I loved it just that much. It grew on me, and I just really, really loved it. And I just think because a lot of that probably has to do with how much heart was in it.
Yeah.
And Ahmed was right. She's very relatable, and I was just like the whole time I was like, she is so cute, like adorable.
Yeah, I did that too. I did.
And
I think that's what took me out of it sometimes. I was like, she is so freaking adorable. Like, yes. I was like, or like the scene, I think it was like either the first or second episode with the kid coming out. I was like, okay, put a shirt on. Like, come on.
Right. When he jumped in, he came out of the pool and it's like, sir, how old are you?
There were some, I would say I had those auntie moments of like, come on now, y'all. Like, do better. Like what? Mm-hmm. So that's why I think like even I think even episode 1 where her mom's like, you're not paying attention, your head's in the car. I was like, you have those auntie or mom moments where you're like, pay attention. Come on. Oh, Lord, she drifting again. So I think those are like I said, that's those little moments. But again, that's not my demographic. Like right. As an older person watching high schoolers, you're gonna have that. So actually, so go ahead, Luis.
I was about to say I feel like I know what Kayla's about to talk about.
Oh Lord,
I saw her face light up for a particular moment, and I just feel like I know what she's about to say.
It's probably right. Let me
And I'm
tell
gonna
y'all
raise my
something,
hand.
okay?
I'm gonna do this if I was right.
When her parents brought out the Hulk costume, baby, let me tell you, I haven't been right since.
If that is not a "we got McDonald's at home" moment, like
Yes,
I was like,
she was
oh,
like,
so
yo,
Pakistani parents are like black parents. Okay, yeah,
very
because
much
I tell
so.
you, they not gonna
Very
spend a whole
much
bunch
so.
of money when grandma and auntie can sew it themselves. Like,
Mhm. And she put that thing together
Hilarious.
overnight. She was like, I
look,
got you and your daddy. We are good.
It was the Sony abs for me.
listen.
Okay, that was it for me.
She said Hulk smash and look and with the Pakistani twist. I thought it was so
I loved it so
hilarious.
much.
I loved it. It, like I said, it was definitely given, and I think that is a part of the cultural aspect they added. I always love those moments when you're like, oh, okay, so you're like black parents, like, oh, you're like black people. Like I said, that was the oh, we got McDonald's at home type of moment. Homemade costumes. But you know what, JB, you actually tied into a little bit of what I want to get into next, which is where do we rank this series? So I wanted to do it this way where Marvel has really gotten in their bag with these new episodic series over the past 2 years. So when I say rank the series, I'm talking about the new ones. This does not include like Iron Fist. It doesn't include any of the Netflix, and it doesn't include like Captain Carter. So and I was like, I'm gonna get a little studious here because I was like, I pulled this up online. I think it was from Reddit. I thought this was a pretty decent picture of Marvel Phase 4, specifically the series. I don't think the dates are accurate, which doesn't really matter. But when we think of WandaVision, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, right? And Moon Knight. What are your rankings for how they're doing when it comes to these Marvel series?
Honestly, I have really, really, really enjoyed the shows a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy them. I watched them strictly because it's Marvel, and I have enjoyed all of them. Some more than others.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I've enjoyed all of them. I think at the bottom for me is Hawkeye.
Yes.
It was slow the whole time, and like honestly, it's just like it was just slow. I ain't like it. I think the whole purpose of that was just to introduce Kate Bishop so that we can keep going past Hawkeye. Let me tell you something. So you trying to tell me that her uniform didn't look like Reebok at Burlington Factory? You trying to tell me it didn't look like that?
Okay, look, let's just go ahead and do this real quick. Let's go ahead and put Hawk. I think anyone who has Hawkeye above that's not at the bottom is crazy. It's crazy. Yes. Hawkeye is so forgettable. The entire time I felt like Jeremy Renner was like, he was giving, I have to be here so I don't get fined. Like
yes.
I'm like, I don't even know if this is his character. Cause like I went back and like watched Thor and watched a few other things. I'm like, no, Jeremy Renner gives a little bit more in his character as Hawkeye, but this one he looked like I know he was like playing miserable, but it was just like he didn't even seem like he was into it. The action, there was to me no real payoff. I didn't buy the villain. I wasn't bought into who the villains were. I wasn't bought into like, ooh, what's gonna happen next. It just was the most entertaining part of it was probably the characters who were doing the cosplay. Like I just Hawkeye was awful to me. It was awful.
See, for Hawkeye, the standouts in that were Yelena and Kate Bishop and their chemistry. And I think that was to me, that was the focus of the show, or the point of the show, much like Black Widow. No one watched Black Widow for Scarlett Johansson, or
we don't care.
Scarlett, I can play whoever I want to Johansson. We watched it because when as we're watching it, we start gravitating to this new character that we know is going to be essentially replacing her at some point. So like Kate Bishop and Yelena on screen together, especially that elevator scene, was like cinematic gold to me. Like they had such great playoff, and I think I read that a lot of that in there was ad lib. They improvised while they were in there, and I think that's what created even more of a like that created that more believable chemistry. But had they given us Wilson Fisk from the Netflix show, this would have been a
Yep.
whole different type of experience because they watered him down so much.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They watered him down because Wilson Fisk on the Netflix show for Daredevil
Ruthless.
is a beast. And I kept
Killer.
telling that to Kayla, and then I finally got her to start watching it, and then she started to see exactly what I meant. They watered him down a lot. So I think that, as far as like introductions go, it did what it was supposed to do. But yeah, it's definitely one of the weaker shows.
Yeah. Hawkeye.
And I will say this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
do want to say this. I didn't dislike Hawkeye as a character, actually, if I'm being honest. I thought he was kind of dope that he was a regular person and like was just dope as hell with the bow and arrows. I think that honestly, if we're being honest, I feel like throughout this whole time that we've seen Hawkeye, they haven't really been utilizing him. Like he hasn't really been one of those main characters, which is why it was weird for me that he was getting his own show. Because it was just like, y'all didn't really put that much focus on him in the movies. Y'all give him his own show. Like,
and then I think we looked into it, I think, on one of our episodes, and it turns out he didn't have as much of a presence in the MCUs because he was going through a really, really bad divorce. And he didn't want, and it was so bad that the more, like, I think that it was being held against him if he was too away from his kids for too long. So basically he had to go to Marvel and essentially say, either you kind of have to write me out, or you're gonna have to agree to let me come when I can. And I think that's why we didn't build an attachment to Hawkeye, because they didn't give us enough of him. He literally popped up in Avengers movies, and I think his first one was Thor.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yeah, and he was brainwashed for half of it.
Yeah, he was brainwashed half of Avengers, and we got the clip of him in Thor. Well, that's actually really good. I didn't know about that. I will go back, and I do agree. I thought that Yelena and Kate Bishop, I thought their banter together was pretty good, but it just to me was. And I put the comment up from Brian, like it was such a slow burn.
I'm talking about.
It was very tough to get through at times. Like, like, okay, what, goes off and you're like, okay, good. It wasn't like a Moon Knight where like Moon Knight and Loki were my two where every episode I think I watched all of them twice, at least twice. Cause it's like, that was good, but I know I missed stuff. Let me do this again. Like, I don't get this. Let me start over again. So yeah. Okay. So hold on. Wait, who's doing rankings? Okay, we got Hawkeye last. You just triggered me when you said Hawkeye, but we got Hawkeye last. Or what are your rankings? I'm gonna put the picture back up.
So Hawkeye's last for me, right?
I agree.
All right, Hawkeye. What if was good, but I didn't really enjoy it as much as some of the other ones, right?
Can I do a caveat with what if?
Go ahead.
What if, except for the Doctor Strange episode? Because that Doctor Strange episode was dope. That was really good. And I was really hoping for more of that in Multiverse of Madness. But man, the portrayal of how they did things for that one, and then getting to hear Chadwick Boseman's voice again. Shout out to him for getting the Emmy nomination. But that Doctor Strange episode was good. But I agree. What if down there too?
Yeah. So Hawkeye, what if? Falcon.
Oh.
Falcon. I love. Don't get me wrong. I love Falcon. I loved it. But I feel like
that's your truth. We accept your truth.
Okay.
That's your truth.
So we got Hawkeye. What if Falcon? Okay. Then what's okay?
This is where it gets hard.
Yeah, it gets tough.
Really, really hard. Okay, we're gonna go Moon Knight.
Okay.
Miss Marvel, Wanda, and Loki. Loki to me was really, really good. I mean, really, really, really good. And I don't know if it's because I'm in love with Tom Hiddleston, but to me, I feel like Loki was kind of like top tier for episode wise to me.
See, I agree. What was it? Hawkeye last. What if minus that Doctor Strange episode? I will fight for that one to the death. After that, I'm leaning towards Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and this is why. I thought the story was good, but the
Mhm.
action was not always good. They pulled me in incredibly fast with that first action sequence when he
Ooh,
was
I felt like I
flying.
was
I
on a
felt like I
ride.
hadn't seen anything like that before.
Yeah, especially
But
in a series. I feel like
Mhm.
for
yeah,
a series
but
that was really it was top
then
top tier.
to me after that, it was just some moments where I'm like, it was inconsistent with certain things when it came to people's abilities, and then they played with me by not giving me more of the Dora Milaje. You gave me a
Yes.
good moment,
You cannot play
disconnect
with the
his
Dora
whole
Milaje with
arm,
black people.
and
Black you
then
give
y'all
black
basically
people a
said
little
that's
bit of
it.
Dora. They
Yep.
they want it all.
Yeah.
Now, I will say Falcon, they had some issues because of COVID. They were filming during that
And they had to
time. So
make
I don't know.
changes.
They
I
had
think
like a
Yeah.
that
bunch of changes. So I'm not
Also,
sure.
WandaVision too. I think Falcon and WandaVision, they were towards the end of filming when COVID happened and they had to shut down
Uh-huh.
and then start back up. So I know those two for sure are ones
well,
that had issues because
one of
of
the changes with Falcon was actually almost the entire story,
yeah.
because originally the story was actually supposed to be around this disease, almost like what ended up
Yep. And they
happening
cut
with
it out.
COVID. So they ended up changing that because it was so close to what we were experiencing, and it would have felt like one of those, hey, yo, read the room kind of situations. And I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes in the story, it impacted the story. They also played with me in my whole face with Isaiah Bradley. That was one of my favorite things. I even went back and read his comic book. But y'all play with me with Patriot. You could have gave me a little bit more to let me know that he's going to probably have a presence later, because me and Kayla have always been talking about how you can clearly see that there's a young Avengers building.
They
Oh
are building it.
yeah. Oh,
If
absolutely.
if genetically he has some type of enhanced ability because it's been passed down, I would have loved to seen a hint of that. That would have
Yeah.
really just set me off.
I
So
thought they were going to do that too with the grandson. I thought there would have been some little inkling, whether it was a slam in the door or being like, "Hey, hold up," and it's like, "Ooh, wait,
Right.
like that closed a little bit harder than I expected that to, kind of
yeah." Like
thing.
Yes.
I thought they would have hinted it with the grandson. So yeah, I agree with that.
And okay, so after that, I give it to Moon Knight. Moon Knight's pacing ended up being really bad. It was like we got through the first 5 episodes, and then that 6th episode, they just kind of sped us through it and still didn't give us what we've been wanting to see when it came to that third personality. We got it in the post credit
Yeah.
scene, but it was like
Which I thought was a disservice.
we got irritated so much watching that, because every time he blacked out, the things that we wanted to see as viewers, we never got to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna give mine 2 next, but yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
and then after that is Loki. I'm giving WandaVision my number one because that show is the reason why I'm still in this. Because I went
Oh.
into WandaVision without any expectations, had no clue where they were going to go with things. And
Yep.
I don't think that I've ever seen a show that had people talking the way that show did. Because people were so interested in knowing where things were going to go that it was like,
And it was
that's
so
how
different.
Kayla and I started. We were like, hey, did you watch this? Did that make sense to you?
Yep.
And then the next thing you know, I'm over here doing research and trying to find Easter eggs and stuff. I had never had a show have me that invested before. And then it's also the show that made everybody fall in love with Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. It was, I mean, we kind of hated her a little bit when Multiverse of Madness happened, and hated everybody for making her that way, even though, you know, in the comics she's just a trauma character. But WandaVision was like my thing. It was my thing. I'm trying to censor myself because I would have cussed real hard.
Listen, okay, so I'm gonna do some comments. We got Brian. He says Falcon Winter Soldier easily top 3. I'm with Brian, yo. I feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier is not getting the love it should get. Falcon and Winter Soldier and low key tied at first. Sorry, that's my comment. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. I have some more. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get it. It can't. All of them, for some weird reason, the comments come in like so quickly, and I'm just like, what the heck is going on? Didn't like Hawkeye earpiece in Endgame. Used to owe for that. Listen, that earpiece. I was when they did the earpiece, I said, I think they've given up. Like that little plot, I was like, I think they've given up in the writing room, and they're just like, whatever, just do whatever feels good for you, right? He's like, right. I just don't want to hear nobody. Like the earpiece thing, I was like, I can't. Let's see, what do we have? What If is on the bottom as well. Wow, What If is not getting any love. based the entire movie. Okay, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Hold on, we have one from 7. WandaVision, What If, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel. So he's got WandaVision at number 1 too. Okay, all right. So here's mine. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Okay, so here's mine. Bottom of the bottom, like I said, Hawkeye, hands down. I gave y'all my reasoning. Okay, I'm looking at the screen. Okay, I got Hawkeye at the bottom. Next would be Miss Marvel, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. I'm gonna tell you why I have her so low. Though I think it was a great story and it was good, I think series wise, unfortunately, I feel like it's come at a time in phase 4 where it's like, I don't quite really see all the tie-ins yet. Like, I know that, if you saw the last episode, you saw the end credits, we see her kind of changing to Carol Danvers, but that I was
Did
like,
you
okay,
hear the music?
I did. And then of course, I in other, again, I don't even want to keep saying this. Where's my little banner? I feel like I have my spoiler alert banner up here. Right. Sorry. I'm gonna keep my spoiler alert banner up here because I'm not gonna keep saying spoiler alert. But of course, when her friend at the end says like, oh, it's a mutation, and then you hear the like, I love that part of it. I didn't still quite get it. So I'm like, the problem with that one is I'm like, I wanted a little bit more of a tie-in where I'm like, okay, where are we going with this when it comes to the Miss Marvels? And we're going to talk about that because we're going to go deep into phase 4 in general. But I have Miss Marvel. I'll be honest. I have Miss Marvel and What If at around the same tier. So kind of like a 4 and 5, according to how I feel. Mm-hmm. Then next I would do Moon Knight. I have Moon Knight a little lower. And the reason why was because of what you guys said, which was a lot of those cut scenes. I think Oscar Isaac acted his ass off. Woo! I thought the pacing was a little off. I did love, a lot of those cultural references. It was a heavier show too. Moon Knight was a lot heavier. I am so sorry.
Episode 5 good at me.
Yeah, it was very heavy. Sorry, I had that comment up in your face was covered. JB, my bad. Moon Knight was just a little heavier. Like I said, there was not one episode I did not have to watch twice. I think it was very layered. It was pretty heavy. So I have Moon Knight a little further down. I would then do and this is so hard because it changes a lot. It would be between Falcon and Winter Soldier, Wanda, and Loki. Loki, definitely one of my top, I think out of all the series, top tier. I thought the pacing of Loki was perfect. I thought the story was the way they introduced the timeline, like a middle schooler could understand it. And the way they set us up, having the last scene with Jonathan Majors. And I felt like Loki was the catalyst of like, this is where we're going when we talk about these multiverses. This is how it is.
The movies the most.
It was just such a great foundational show. So Loki, I think, is number 1. WandaVision, like you said, and I was a fashion student in undergrad, so I love costuming. That was actually what I wanted to do after I got out of undergrad, was get into costuming and work for a museum. So the costuming in WandaVision, the action, and I felt WandaVision was very solid. And then, like I said, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I loved it. I thought it was a good mirror to what we deal with. There's all those memes of like, this is what America thinks they are, and this is what America actually is. Like, I felt Falcon and Winter Soldier really did that. So those are my series rankings. As we also look at this, let's jump right into what are your movie rankings? Because Thor Love and Thunder came out recently. Let's look at that first. Thor Love and Thunder. Have you guys seen it? What are your thoughts about Thor Love and Thunder? I have mine.
Of course we've seen it. We've
already seen it twice.
See, I've only seen it once. I haven't seen it twice yet.
Looking at this ranking and where.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it back up. I'm gonna. Yeah. Well, tell me how you like Thor. What were your thoughts about Thor: Love and Thunder first, and then we'll jump into rankings. And I'm gonna keep throwing up some comments because people are ranking theirs too.
I really hold on. I do not disturb. I enjoyed Thor Love and Thunder. I heard a lot of people didn't like it. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was stupid, like in a funny ha type of way. And like the director Taika Waititi was like on the show, and I keep talking about this, but he was like, basically a 6-year-old wrote this movie and Marvel said yes to every single thing they wanted in it. And that's exactly how it played out. I feel like this was like I could have probably wrote Thor Love and Thunder in the 5th grade with how fantastical it was.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed it. I will say that Jane can stay dead. She don't ever have to come back. Ever.
Ooh, okay.
She can stay dead.
Ooh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. JB said this on our podcast. He was just like, they really didn't utilize Valkyrie as much as they could because I loved her. I would love. I really won't see. I don't like Jane Foster because I really feel like he should be with Valkyrie, but she like coochie, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
See, I liked Thor. I did, but my first time I did not. I came out of there, and I usually whenever I send Kayla like a message about how I think something is, I either send like a person running, maybe someone in the wheelchair. Sometimes they're walking. It's like and I sent her, I think, a walk this time. It was like I felt like it landed right in the middle. And the reason why, and that was the first time. When I watched it again, I felt a little bit better. But my complaints were and still are: one, pacing was not good. You can tell that they omitted a lot of things. Like, why give us a hint that Jane got the hammer, but not show us the moment? The moment would have been what made us be like really into this.
Yeah.
Instead, we see we're inferring that it's happened, even though we already know it's going to happen because of the trailer. But it's like, show us that. So I didn't like that. You have a villain. Christian Bale was great, but you have a villain who his name is Gore, the God Butcher. We watched 2 hours of a film and watched him kill one god. We had multiple gods in what I'm calling the God frat house. If he had shown up in the frat house and at least took out like a couple, I would have been sold. Because when I messaged Kayla after I saw the movie, the thing I said was, I bought into his pain. I felt his pain. I empathized for him.
Yes.
What I didn't do was fear him, because they didn't give me enough for me to be scared. It was like, and I told somebody at work today, I said some of how he was acting in ways was reminiscent of Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. But the thing about Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, you saw how you saw how crazy he got. You got to see a lot more of the things that made him like, yo, this dude is so unstable. Like, you don't want to mess with him. And then, like, I mean, it's talking about Lady Sif. Why are they not letting this girl get her flowers? She should be so much more than they're letting her be.
In the words of Cardi B, what was the reason?
There wasn't a reason. There wasn't one.
Right. So there's like, they have so many characters that they could be highlighting. So many characters they could have given the spotlight to share. Yet they just said, we're going to give you this little Salt Bae. We're going to sprinkle a little bit over here. We're going to sprinkle a little bit over here, but we're not going to really get into it.
Yeah. Now look, let me say this. I want y'all to understand something. Jane is cool, I guess. But if we're going to have Natalie Portman being dry as hell, I don't care. She can stay dead. Stay dead in Valhalla. Whatever.
So this is my thing about Thor. Thor Love and Thunder with Taika Waititi from Ragnarok and now Love and Thunder. I love it. I like that Thor is now the lighter character in the MCU. I think it is necessary that we're not, because especially when you think of like phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3, phase 1 and 2, a lot of the pacing for all their movies were exactly the same. So I think having Thor being the lighter, more comical character, and just Chris Hemsworth in general has that humor, I think it works. There were a few aspects of Love and Thunder that I absolutely did not like. When you talk about, like, Kayla, when you talk about Jane Foster, for me, I didn't care whether she died or lived because I no longer had any investment in her, because you guys told me that you guys kind of technically threw her character away in Ragnarok. You made it a punchline of like, sorry, Jane left you. It was mutual dumping, and then you let it go. And in my mind, as a fan, I was like, cool, we ain't gonna see her no more. I do not care about this character, and so to bring her back. And then adding that like cancer aspect of it for us to be,
but that's true to the comic.
It's a storyline.
That's true to her comic character.
It's cool. I just didn't feel the investment, right? Like I just
because the chemistry's not there.
Yeah, I just was like, okay, she's back. Oh, damn, and like you said, the how she got her powers. I would have loved to see Mjolnir come back together and her revitalize and all that stuff. Like that could have been an easy like 5-minute scene that you could put that in there. We want to see that. So I just
they could have kept it because they definitely filmed one.
Yeah, I just wasn't invested in the character and that empathy and caring about it. No. I actually talked to Ahmed about this yesterday, and I was so upset. And I got upset as I was thinking about it, which was how she got into Valhalla is not okay with me. Like Valhalla is supposed.
Let's talk about it.
We're here. We're here now. Valhalla is supposed to be for warriors. Valhalla is supposed to be for those who have like truly served Asgard and are doing for others. Let's keep it a buck. She went to go get Mjolnir for a very selfish purpose. Number one, regardless of all the stuff that she did, I just don't think she deserved. It was giving very Karen. It was giving very I want to speak to you. Like she did not technically deserve to be in Valhalla. If you think about like what Heimdall did, what Thor's mother did. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head right now. Frigga. What Frigga has done. Like these people are they're gods, they're immortal. They've been around for thousands of years. Like sis, you're like 38 and you became Thor for 10 days and you're in Valhalla. Like get out of here. I was so irritated with that. That really irked me.
Now I will say
how they lied in that movie.
Well, that too. I wasn't even gonna talk about that. But I mean, we're gonna say if it weren't for Jane, Thor might be dead. Okay. So maybe they based it off that little thing that she did.
You know what? Okay.
She need a regular funeral.
A regular funeral. That's right. Meatballs and chicken at the end.
Cremate her. Leave on somebody's shelf.
Put her ass in the urn.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind it if she floated away. Like, cool. She got but to me, it was like, really, y'all gonna let old girl in? That to me irritated me, and I know it shouldn't have. And the way they also led that scene off was similar to what you were saying, Kayla, as if like she's gonna come back or she's gonna. I don't need that. I don't need that. If there's any dead character from the MCU I want to see come back is Gamora. Other than that, the rest of them. Black Widow, bad girl. Like
she gonna get back eventually. But I agree. Like that's Brian mentioned how the only reason she was even able to be considered worthy of Mjolnir was because Thor told him that, or told it that, like protect her at all costs, essentially. And that was that one moment on the hammer you see it glow.
Yeah,
like, it was acknowledging him.
Yeah.
But one thing that made me mad about this movie was the fact that the moment we see Sif is like, oh, I'm okay with dying in battle. And he's like, I'm going to Valhalla. He's like, well, actually, you ain't going to make it because you're going to die after the fact. But then when he went to go talk to the kids, he told the kids, oh, if you die, you're going to go to Valhalla. So they're all freaking out. But now that has completely skipped over the requirement to have been killed in battle. And then Jane then comes later on, dies outside of battle. After they get to eternity, and Sis is now in Valhalla. So there's just like a lot. That was one of the inconsistencies I didn't like, and it was such a blatant one that they didn't even try to make it seem like they thought about that part. That kind of really burned me up a little bit.
Because like it'd be one thing if while they were fighting and you see her get stabbed or something, then I would have been more invested. But like I said, that one little thing, and I know it's probably wildly nitpicky. I just didn't feel that the character deserved that aspect of it. Based off of how they built up with Valhalla, isn't it? Of course, if you're into Norse mythology and what that means. You know, it like you said, it's a warrior's death because I will be here. So I just didn't like that. Like you said, I thought Christian Bale did really great, but he's just a great actor in general. So I didn't really expect anything less of him. Yes, I would have liked to see the carnage of his character. Because like you said, I wasn't bought in. Yeah, I wasn't bought into him being scary. Like he looked dusty, but I just wasn't bought into the fear, you know, that technically the fear of gods, right? Like if you are the god butcher, you're putting the fear in these gods. And even the lackadaisical nature of all the other guys, like, oh, I mean, we good. We in here, like, you know, we got top-notch security outside. We straight, you know. I didn't like that. I'll be honest. I was disappointed in Russell Crowe in this movie, actually. What? I was a little disappointed.
Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can turn off your camera. Give me a second.
Please.
I was a little disappointed in Russell Crowe's you know, him being Zeus, and it went along with the theme of the movie. And of course, you know, I'm always here for seeing naked Chris Hemsworth, even if it makes no sense. If it makes, and dudes be hating on the fact that Marvel's like, you're going to see Chris Hemsworth's body at some point. I love it. I don't know. I just felt it was for Zeus. I was expecting a little bit more, a little less girth. And I'm not trying to body shame, but I don't know. I wanted something. There was just something missing. It's like I've been learning how to make tuna macaroni salad for cookouts, and there's always something missing. And I was just like, I don't know if it's the relish, if it's the salt. There's something just missing when it came to that. But I thought overall, Valkyrie, I thought was great. I would love to see a Valkyrie series. I think if Disney is on a roll with these series, give us a Valkyrie series. And if it ties into something great, if it doesn't, that's fine too, because y'all gave us things like What If. But overall, I really did like Thor Love and Thunder. I love the humor. Like you said, there were those little, you know, JB, I'm with you. There's those little nitpicky holes. Lady Sif, I know Ahmed talked about it. Lady Sif, I don't know why you brought her back for nothing.
And then took her arm. Like, you couldn't have left her with both of them. You brought her back and said, nope, taking that.
It was
treated her like Winter Soldier.
You're like, why did you bring her back for, you know, a scene and a half and she doesn't have an arm? Why? I didn't understand the point of having her there. You guys, you know, got rid of the Warriors 4, 3 or whatever so quickly in Ragnarok. You could have also, like, if they did not have Lady Sif at all in this, it would have been totally fine. And I feel like anytime you have certain characters in a movie where you can take them out and it would literally not change any aspect of the plot, you know, or where the story goes, then don't have them in there. And I felt that was the biggest thing I felt about Lady Sif was like, you could have taken that entire scene and the last scene out and nobody would have thought twice about it. Then why have it? Other than that, I thought Thor was dope. So I'm going to keep throwing up some of the comments. Where are you guys on ranking the movies of Phase 4? And I'm going to pop those back up here. Where are we with the movies of Phase 4? Now, you are more than welcome. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that caveat. I'm going to leave that for myself. Go ahead. Y'all go ahead and rank them. I'm going to pop up some.
You want to go first? I can go first.
I mean, I can go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so for me, if I'm looking at that's Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man, Multiverse of Madness, and Thor. Of these, Eternals is at the bottom. Eternals is at the bottom. While I did enjoy Eternals, I think it did get a lot of negative flack that it wasn't deserving of. And Makari is the best speedster portrayed in TV right now. Because she's the only one that they've actually allowed to be fast the whole time. Everybody else is always moving in slow motion, so you can see how fast they're going where everything's moving slow. This gave me the impact of what like being a speedster would be. But it also feels like the most misplaced of all of the films that they've released in Phase 4. And I don't feel like they've truly capitalized on it. Like, you have an entire You just got this thing out in the middle of the water, and nobody anywhere in any of the things that we're watching is talking about it. Like, he's just out there, like, and y'all not talking about it. I just don't get that. So if I put one at the bottom, it would be Eternals. After Eternals would probably be Black Widow. I think I like Black Widow. I think that she's a good character, but that movie, who needed a movie that took place that long ago? Nobody. Like, she should have gotten her movie at the time that that movie actually took place. That's when that movie should have happened. But instead, y'all played with people. Y'all weren't ready to make a woman a lead in a film yet, and you waited until nobody cared about her anymore to give her a movie, only for us to care more about the supporting cast than we did her. Like,
well,
come on.
Yelena was the shining star of that. Exactly. I don't know if that was on purpose or
it was just Black Widow starring Yelena. But so,
no,
so
it should have been the other way around.
Right.
Yelena starring Black Widow.
So this is Black Widow. After Black Widow, I would probably put Multiverse of Madness after Black Widow, because that was another movie where they played in my face. They played Sam Raimi is good. Sam Raimi played with that movie. There's so many weird pacing issues. I was talking to someone today about that, and literally one of the issues that I have was one of the things she said, and I hadn't even thought about it that way. Black Widow was, I mean, not Black Widow, but Scarlet Witch was mean, like dangerous, but she wasn't crazy. She should have started to be crazy for as long as she had this book. Like, she had crazy moments here and there. And then generally, instead of it being how she was delivering the lines, it was more of how the CGI made her look, like when she crawled out of the glass like she was in the ring, or when she was walking up the hallway with the limp, even though she was able to run later. Not talking about that. But it's just like, there's certain things I didn't like. I also felt like they basically wasted the Illuminati. You have these people that come together, and then she washes them in 3 minutes. Washes them. Straight up comes through and like, hey, I just COVID vaccinated you. You are not making it here. She literally took them out. And I'm just like, and some of them made sense. Like, I really paid attention to some of them, some of the deaths, like slowing things down. I've watched Multiverse of Madness at least 4 times now.
Yeah.
And like, a lot of people were arguing about the Captain Marvel thing, but if you like really watch that battle, you see that the whole time they're fighting, she's actually being siphoned. Yeah. Like, you can actually see her power leaving her to the point where when she was left, she basically just a regular person. Yeah. So there's certain things that made sense, but Zombie Strange, the way they did him, not a fan of how they did that. Like, it's just, nah, there were just certain things I didn't like, but it also wasn't a movie that was as bad as people said it was.
No.
After that, Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was the movie. Well, no. Have I thrown Love and Thunder in here? Because that needs to be down there somewhere too.
Yeah, Love and Thunder is a part of the rankings. Yeah,
we're gonna say Multiverse of Madness and Love and Thunder were tied for me, because they both. I think I went into with higher expectations than I needed to, and they both let me down.
Okay.
But Shang-Chi to me was a star of this phase. The fighting sequences, that whole bus sequence is one of the best things I have seen in a long time.
Can we be best friends? Can we be best friends? Okay. Yes.
And I agree over here. Thor 2 is worse than Iron Man 3. But but then after Shang-Chi, then I would put No Way Home. No Way Home was a perfect example of how to do fan service right.
Yes.
Perfect.
Like, if you're going to do it, don't make it something gimmicky. Don't make it something almost like Multiverse of Madness turned into when it came to them using the Illuminati. Make them a major part. Make it a major part. And they made Toby and Andrew what they should have been in that type of movie. And they finally allow people to put respect on Andrew Garfield's name.
Yeah.
Because I've told this to Dovecat, Kayla, many times. I think that Tom Holland is our best Peter Parker. And I went back and watched the first 3 Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and if there was some type of harm I can do to someone for having me go back and watch them, I would do it because bro can't act. Like just
Never could.
and
Never
while you have a
could.
moment, if you want to do a quick Google that says Tobey Maguire crying. Anyone that sees that man crying and looking like that and finds that to be acceptable acting, I mean, I'm okay with just deleting you out of my phone. But
We
Andrew
had a good thing
Garfield
going
was
for a
a
while.
better Spider-Man. Like if you watch him in his first film, we're gonna just talk about the first one because the second one was garbage. But the first one, he's the only one that seems to truly embody spider-like movement. Like there's a scene where he's in the school and he's fighting Lizard, and he's literally wrapping around him like a actual spider would. You don't really see that with Toby's character, nor do you see that with Tom. Andrew he seemed a little bit too cool for school, and I don't think people really gravitated to that because Peter's supposed to be a little awkward, and I think Toby had the awkwardness down, but Tom was the perfect combination of both.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. What do you got, Kayla?
Oh gosh, I should have been thinking about this while we were talking. All right, so boom, I was over here giving you a hard time, JB. But Eternals was probably bottom for me too. I enjoyed Eternals.
Thank you.
I enjoyed Eternals a lot. If we're being honest, I enjoyed it. I really, really did. But compared to all the other films that have been released after, I'm just like, yeah, sis. Yeah. Nah. So Eternals was good. Makari is the best speedster. She's my favorite. All right, boom. So we got Eternals. All right. Then after Eternals, we're gonna go with
Sorry, not Andrew's. Peter was getting hosed.
He was because he was cute. You know what's funny, Savin? While we here talking about Thor 2, what you just said, I'm in this TV group and there were some women up in there who seemed to think that Thor 2 was better than Love and Thunder, and I was just like, "Well, sis, I can't trust your taste because Thor 2 was
I can never trust anyone who says that."
So whack. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so after Eternals, I'm gonna go with Black Widow. Black Widow. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, these movies are good. I've enjoyed all these movies, but like just ranking them, I don't know. It really felt like a Yelena movie, and it should have been whatever Yelena's name is in the comics, and not Black Widow because we over Scarlet. It seems like I feel like Scarlet paid Marvel to do the movie. Because it just seemed misplaced. I don't know. I don't know. All right, it was good. Don't get me wrong. I like the action and the fighting, like I always do with Natasha. But yeah, it was a waste. We didn't need it. So after we got Eternals and we got Black Widow, I'm gonna go with Multiverse of Madness. Multiverse of Madness. Wow. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. Okay. But I was let down a little bit. Like JB was saying, I didn't go in with high expectations for Thor, which is why Thor is above Multiverse of Madness for me. I didn't go in because it's a Thor film. I had every intention. I had every intention not to feel anything. I had every intention to laugh at the stupid stuff. Like, that was my thing. So I was just like, nah. So I was pleasantly surprised by Thor and underwhelmed a little bit by Multiverse of Madness. Enjoyed it. I really think that the whole trauma thing with Wanda is played. I feel like they need to do something different. She can still be a badass, but sis needs a break.
He's stressed.
All right, then she's stressed out. All right, so Multiverse of Madness, and then we got Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was really, really good, but I really, 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 really enjoyed Spider-Man. Like Tom Holland is like, it's just like he is a grown man, but I really felt like he was a kid in these films. Like I feel like he really got that awkward teenage boy type of situation down, and I believed him. It was believable. Toby looked like a grown man playing 16 in high school. Somebody, I think in the comments, or maybe
the whole film. He wasn't in high school most of it though. Like the other half of it was him in college.
But he looked 30 when he was in high school. Exactly. Like, sir, Benjamin Button, I'm gonna need you to work on this. Like, why you look this old, sir? Like,
he just looked grown. So I don't know if it was Andrew. Somebody said Andrew was too cool for school, and you are right. Andrew was definitely getting hoes, but
tons
tons of hoes. But it was like Spider-Man was like top notch. So for me, the
didn't they
best
have
one out of
Felicia
all of
in
those
that
was
one?
Spider-Man.
They
So
had
what?
Felicia in one of the Amazing Spider-Man. Like, Gwen was in there. They started to hint at Felicia being in there too. So it was like he was about to get them women. Mm-hmm. It was about to be a whole line.
Yeah, I cannot. So, I'm gonna do my rankings real quick because mine isn't much different from you guys. Mine, very bottom is Black Widow. I have never been a fan of the Black Widow movie. I thought it was ill-placed and ill-timed.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, oh, well, if it wasn't a pandemic, it would have made $1 billion. No, the hell it wasn't going to, because we knew she died. It wasn't going to make $1 billion, even if it wasn't in the pandemic. It wasn't a good movie. At best, it should have been a series, but it was just ill-timed. It was so late. I think if it would have come out a lot earlier, where it should have fit in the phases, then yeah, I would have been like, okay, would I have run to the theaters to see it? No, I would have still even then put Black Widow in the same way I look at like Ant-Man. I'll see it when it hits Disney Plus. Like, I'm not pressed to run to the theaters to see an Ant-Man, right? I actually I don't think I saw any of the Ant-Mans in theater. I waited till it came out. So Black Widow.
Shame you, and I'm the same way.
I'm sorry. Black Widow was bottom tier. She's not a superhero. Stop trying to make her bigger than what she is. All she truly does, if we want to talk about, where the movies go wrong, all she truly does is scissor kick. Like, she's putting her coochie on people's neck all the time. Like, that is her thing. She's going to jump up, wrap her legs around somebody's body, and punch or kick or stab. Like, I've just never been a big fan of Black Widow, specifically them trying to elevate her as this big superhero. And all she is a fighter. I mean, no, I could go on about my dislike for Black Widow. So Black Widow's at the bottom. Next is Eternals. Good story, slower pacing. I know that's kind of the director, Zhao. I know that's kind of her pacing. Chloe Zhao. It was definitely a little slower, more cinematic.
It was a beautiful film.
Beautifully shot. But I felt it was bloated. It had entirely too many characters, too many big characters that you just could not flush out in that movie. It was just too big of an ensemble cast. I mean, it was they had damn near more people than the actual first Avengers movie. And we had movies before to know who these characters were. So I felt Eternals just had entirely too many characters for us to try to get on there. 7 is wild.
I'm dying over here.
So yeah, I'll do Eternals. I will do Multiverse of Madness. So my list is actually pretty similar to Kayla's. I'll do Multiverse of Madness for the same thing. I had higher expectations because of What If, because of WandaVision, and because of Loki, that we were going to get more multiverse, that we were going to dig a little deeper. And the hang up that Wanda had about her kids. And I don't have kids, right? I can understand a mother's pain. But I also feel like, and maybe that was a part of the madness, right? Like, she had just gotten so disconnected and so in tune with trying to just get back to her kids. It was like, girl, but these are not your kids. Like, you would take this away. There's so many bigger stakes. And the idea of like, I don't give a shit. I just want my kids. I just wasn't even bought into that. Like, as someone who's gone through that, it didn't touch for me.
I will say, if you're ever bored and you want to read a comic, House of M is superb. Okay. That's a lot of what that is based off of, like WandaVision and all of this stuff. It all stems from some of those. And that was something. Like, I think it was first Avengers Disassembled and House of M, all of those together. Oh man, chef's kiss.
Okay, yeah, that was probably the thing about. And then I would say the other big thing about Multiverse of Madness, and I know a lot of YouTubers have talked about it, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. Marvel spoiling in the trailers for that movie pissed me off. The fact that they already showed Professor Xavier and you hear Patrick Stewart's voice for the Illuminati, why is that in your trailer? Mm-hmm. Why is that in your trailer? I don't care if it's a teaser. I don't care if it's trailer 3. Like, after they did that with Multiverse of Madness, because they did it in Shang-Chi, which irritated me. They spoiled some of it in their trailer. But for Multiverse of Madness, that was such a huge moment. If I was in theaters and not had seen that and then saw Patrick Stewart come out as Professor X, I would have literally, like, my butt would have fell off. Like, I would have been like, oh my God. Like, all of those, because I'm thinking about, like, all of those reveals in that moment were so dope. That would have been the cherry on the cake. But we knew it was happening. We knew it was coming. And spoiling it in the trailers, Marvel stopped doing that. I think it's a huge disservice. And I think that was also one of the big letdowns for Multiverse of Madness. Next, I will do... I'll do Thor Love and Thunder. Like Kayla, I go in with Thor, Taika Waititi. I know I'm going to have a good time. I'm not expecting anything too deep. I really did enjoy it. And to me, it lived up to my expectations.
Yeah. Just a little bit. You know?
Yeah, it lived up to what I wanted to see. And then, the last two would be Shang-Chi and Spider-Man. I think Shang-Chi, and it varies. I saw Shang-Chi in theaters twice. I absolutely loved it. Some of the criticism it gets, I just do not get it. It was a solid damn movie. I thought Shang-Chi was extremely well written. I thought it was, the action was great, especially that first fighting scene that gives you that crouching tiger, hidden dragon feel. It to me, Shang-Chi lived up to the hype. But again, Marvel spoiling it, showing Wong and Abomination fighting in the trailers. Why did you show us that? Like,
at least it wasn't an important piece, though. That's
was,
the thing that I'm okay with, because I didn't. That was like a throwaway.
It was, but at the same time, like, that is something in a movie you want to see and be like, oh my gosh, what? Like, you want to have those moments. And I feel like that was, again, between Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange, those are moments they're taking away from us in the trailers. And that could have just been really good. Yeah, it didn't stop it, but Shang-Chi definitely top tier. And then Spider-Man. Now, we could debate Spider-Man long, but we got one more topic before I let y'all go. But Spider-Man No Way Home, definitely in this phase thus far, definitely number one. I'm Team Tobey all the way. Outside of the criticisms, we can look back and nitpick. I still love Tobey Maguire. He's my Spider-Man. I was that person who was in like high school who wanted to get kissed like upside down. And I love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He's still, like Brian said, that's OG Spider-Man for me. But I thought they did a great service to Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man, though I literally could not get through the first movie. I fell asleep on the first movie twice. The last movie obviously was absolutely garbage, and that crack of Gwen Stacy's head still haunts me.
Oh my God, that was bad.
It haunts me. Like, it haunts me. But I thought it was a great movie, super emotional. And it actually, I felt that this, even though the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland have been pretty overloaded, I haven't felt that he's carried a movie on his own. The first one, they used a lot of Tony Stark and Iron Man references to kind of carry that movie. And this one had everybody and their damn mama in there. I still
he didn't have help in Far From Home.
Huh?
Far From Home was all him.
Well, but not well. It's not, to me, I don't give Far From Home. That was the other one. Yeah, but Far From Home was okay. It still wasn't. It still wasn't as good. This one was really good. The third one was really good, and it actually tied me into the investment of like, oh, now we're going to see a very non-technical, someone speaking in the ear, Jarvis in the ear or whatever. Like, I love that this new aspect of where Tom Holland Spider-Man is going to be a lot more authentic, similar to the cartoons. So I'm really excited about where they're going to be doing Spider-Man. But the last one before I have you guys leave is going to be Phase 4 in general. What are your thoughts about where Phase 4 is going? And are there any movies or shows on here you are excited about? And any ones that are kind of meh? And if you're in the comments, go ahead and comment. Let us know, what do you think about Phase 4? Where do you think Phase 4 is going? And your thoughts about any shows or movies you're excited to see.
I might be on my own on this. I have truly enjoyed Phase 4. I haven't really cared that we don't really know what direction it's going. I haven't cared about any of that because the stuff that we have been getting has been decent. I don't know. To me, it feels like it would be like if we weren't given like quality films and shows, I think I might would have an issue with like this is some crappy ass shows and we still don't know where everything is going. But with Phase 4, I have loved it. I don't really have many complaints. And I'm excited for wherever they're trying to take us because at this point I feel like we really still don't know. The show that I'm most excited for, or two couple, I have a few. I'm really excited for Ironheart. Super duper excited for Ironheart, and I'm hoping that she plays a bigger role going forward. She just seems dope as hell. I'm really excited for Fantastic Four.
Okay.
And they're having some issues with that. I feel like we about to get an announcement pretty soon, considering
the
that
announcement's next week.
Yeah,
right.
okay. Everything's next
With
week.
Comic-Con or whatever coming up, I feel like we about to get at least the cast reveal. Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm excited about because my girl Gamora is coming back. I'm excited to see where that's going. But all in all, I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I've been having a good time, and I don't really have that many complaints.
Okay. What about you, JB? What you got?
I will say that Phase 4 has probably been my least favorite phase since Marvel has been doing this. This seems like the first phase where, as a viewer, you are confused.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I think that they're leaving nuggets here and there, but at the moment, none of the nuggets truly connect. So you're just getting random characters, you're getting introductions to characters, but you don't really understand how these people are connecting. Whereas, and I think that before in all the other phases, we were already phase 1 did a really good job of setting up the characters. We got the origin films to everybody, and each post-credit scene had a connection to what was coming. A lot of the post-credit scenes now are connecting to something that's coming, but the thing that is connected to is so far down the line that it's like, why are you telling me this now? Why do I need to see this now? That was why the only reason why I truly appreciate a post-credit scene in Miss Marvel, it actually connected to something that was coming. And yeah, I know that Secret Wars is coming, and I was going to comment on someone else. I think it was Brian. I think that's when we'll actually get the introduction to Miles, because in the comics he's introduced in Secret Wars as well. But the stuff that they're doing right now is just, it just feels like we're just throwing stuff out there, and I think that one of the best and worst things that they've done is introduce TV shows, because we're getting good content from TV shows, but it now feels like we have so many things coming at one time that it's so hard to truly connect them all together. And it's throwing me a little bit. But as far as things that I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to anxiously looking forward to Wakanda Forever. I say that because that just feels like it's going to be a complete shit show. I'm trying to stay positive about it. Lord knows I am. But because like what we're finding now is that they're filming great things, but we're not getting all of the great things when we see the films. And that's what's scaring me, is that they're going to film all this wonderful stuff for Wakanda Forever, and then they're going to end up cutting it down. Like I read something today that Taika Waititi was told that for Thor Love and Thunder, he needed to keep it at 2 hours. Well, we also find out that the original cut was 4 hours, and a lot of the stuff that I wanted was in the original cut.
Oh, that's why I think Savin said that, release the Taika cut.
For real.
That kind of
I'm
gets
all about the director's cut.
And then for shows, well, and I'm gonna throw Blade out there. Blade is a show a movie I've been waiting for, but they haven't given us anything. There hasn't been really any movement on that thing. I was expecting to get a little bit more hints at him. I was praying that he was going to be introduced in Moon Knight just because of their connection in the comics. Of course not. It didn't happen. We got that little teaser in Eternals, and that's it. So it's just like, come on, you hired him on as Blade years ago.
20 years ago,
and we haven't even seen his face. He probably wasn't even in the room for that scene there. He was just like, oh, let me go in this. He in the house. Like, hold on, sir. Yes. Like, come on. So that's what's getting me. But as far as shows go, Ironheart is one, and I'm actually one of the few people, despite the awful trailer, looking forward to She-Hulk, because I like her comic book character. I've been reading some of her
Okay.
comics, and I love that they introduced her breaking the fourth wall, which was important for
Yeah.
her character, because I think she was one of the first characters that started to do that. She was doing that before Deadpool was doing that. So
Okay.
I like that they included that part in there, and I think it's this Miss Marvel show is actually going to connect to that, because we see so much of that organization, Damage
Yeah.
Control organization, and that's a prominent feature of the trailer. So we'll see, but oh, I just need for them to get it together.
Yeah, I think one of the most recent and maybe a few other YouTubers were talking about yeah, I think that and Daredevil, I think that character is going to, start to kind of leak into phase 4, but we don't know yet. I will say for me, the phase 4, I'm enjoying phase 4. Like you, I feel like it's kind of similar to phase 1, where we're getting a lot of this is all introduction. I think the shows are doing the shows, I think, is probably hands down the best thing Marvel could have done. Instead of bloating up movies or having us
Yep.
slowly find out, origin stories through a bunch of different movies. I love that some of the shows are to characters that needed a show, except Black Widow, who at best that could have been a show. Um,
Eternals too.
and Eternals could have been a dope show, especially if they did an 8-part series and they gave a background of 1 to 2 of the characters in each of the episodes and then build it up. Eternals would have been a great show. I totally agree. But I do like. I am interested in phase 4 and what they're going to do. I did think that Miss Marvel was probably I think Miss Marvel and Loki were the only two that have showed us in those kind of last episodes and end credits where it directly ties into same thing with WandaVision.
Right.
Because I know Loki, which isn't up here, which like I said, I found this on Reddit, so I know it's going to miss some things, which is Ant-Man Quantum Realm. I know that Loki's going to tie, and with Loki and Kang, that should be tying directly into Quantum. WandaVision tied directly into Doctor Strange, which was a very seamless transition. And I'm naturally going to assume that Miss Marvel is going to tie very seamlessly into the Marvels, along with WandaVision and that Monica Rambeau character tying into the Marvels. I will say on this list, Ant-Man is on here. Quantum Mania. Sorry, not Quantum Realm. Quantum Mania. I will be honest, I never saw the Blades with Wesley Snipes, so I don't have any context about Blades. I would be lying if I said I'm excited to see Blade. I'm really not.
Where's the block button?
I'm not. I never did. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone.
Don't log off yet. I would
Oh my
say
God.
the movie in the upcoming movies that I'm most excited, like really excited about seeing, I would definitely say Fantastic Four. Was a fan of that. The Marvels, definitely. Ironheart, Armor Wars. I'm really excited. I'm also, one of the other sneak ones that I'm actually very interested to see is Secret Invasion. I don't know why. I feel like that's going to be something I'm really going to end up liking. But I'm really excited about Secret Invasion. Wakanda Forever, I will be honest, I'm so nervous about it. I can't even say I can't say that I'm excited just because of all the news that has come out about it. I am someone who is team recast T'Challa. I don't know what I'm going to get when I walk into that movie, and I will probably be so tense throughout that entire movie because I do not believe in killing off the character T'Challa personally. I think when they made the announcement, like, a month or two after his death, I thought that was I thought it was premature, and I felt that it was a very knee-jerk reaction. And I watched a YouTuber, Just My Opinion Reviews, with Brandon Avery, and he does a lot of more like movie news, and just some of the articles. Letitia Wright being injured early lets me know that Shuri stepping into this mantle is ill-advised and unnecessary. I don't see her as being the leader of Wakanda. If that's the storyline or plot line they try to feed us, which is, oh well, Shuri's going to take over the mantle. Like, really? No, I'm not. I really hope that's not the direction they're going in. we haven't really gotten a lot of spoilers or pictures. I'm not feeling good about Wakanda Forever. I'm going to go see it in theaters. I think that, and there are, again, other YouTubers who can, of course, express this a lot better, but I just feel like killing off that character because the actual actor died is a huge disservice. And I just don't want that. I feel the same. I just don't want that in my movies. I really don't. And I would have rather them push it back. But I feel like as Black people, and when we look at these phases, Black Panther was the only superhero that we have gotten thus far. Every other Black character has been a side character. Mm-hmm. Every other Black character has been, biting off of whatever the main character was. When you look at Sam Wilson, he's kind of biting off of what Captain America was, but he only got no super soldier juice. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was getting his ass kicked with his new outfit in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Which Kayla hated. She hated it.
I didn't care about the outfit either way. I cared about the fact that he was getting beat up. Like, he was getting beat up well. So I'm like, somebody give him that juice. Like, give him some Compound V. Sorry, Boys Rush.
Yeah, you wouldn't get that, Kayla, because you ain't watched it.
Right. I was gonna talk The Boys, but I'll say that for next week. But I'm just we haven't gotten a Black superhero, be it male or female, and to finally get one in Black Panther, the unfortunate passing of Chadwick, and then not knowing where this is going to go, or the idea that, they may just kill him off and they're going to raise Shuri up. I would probably be in that theater in tears if that is the direction they go with elevating Shuri. I just don't, even physically, the girl is not to me going to be able to hold that. I don't think she has the star power to hold this type of franchise. She's also super young. If you look at kind of her age and like the Tom Hollands, to me, I see her being, in a Young Avengers, just based off of the way they developed the character and her age. So I'm nervous the most about Wakanda Forever. I'm not really, I'll be honest, things that I will probably wait till it hits Disney Plus, probably Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I'm not invested. I think Armor Wars, I think that'll be a show. So I'm going to watch. I don't know what else is going to be a movie. Like I said, Ant-Man, we'll see. I think as trailers come out, maybe I'll get excited about Ant-Man. But yeah, that's where I'm feeling about Phase 4. As far as what I'm excited, what I'm not really feeling. Mm-hmm. Kelly, you were going to say something. Sorry.
I love that there's some history known over here. There are a lot of people that don't give Wesley Snipes and Blade its flowers. The reason that Marvel is even successful today when it comes to movies is because of Blade. Marvel was struggling at the time that Blade came out. Blade came out and made a shitload of money. It was actually a great film. I am so heartbroken that you've never seen Blade. If you do go back and watch them, watch the first two. The third one is garbage. It is straight garbage. No more after that. But the first two are really good, and even special effects wise, it still holds up pretty well. Because a lot of it really isn't. The only thing they used special effects for then was just the way the vampires died. Everything else was just Wesley Snipes doing martial arts, and we know that he can do that. If he can't do anything outside of not paying taxes, he can do his martial arts.
I think he's paying his taxes now.
I mean, he ain't got no choice. He had to go away for it. But Blade was it. Blade was it. It was like, that was a really dope film, and I love seeing people talk about that, because there are a lot of people, especially white people, that tried to make it seem like Tony Stark was and Robert Downey Jr. is what did it. And they did he took it up wherever it is now. But it was Blade that saved Marvel because they were, comic book industry was on a decline.
Yeah.
So, the fact that they actually allowed someone to make that film, it saved them. So. And we still trying to figure out who Michaela Cole is going to be in the Wakanda Forever movie.
I think I forgot she is going to be in the movie. I forgot. Yeah, she is. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just waiting for Inhumans.
It's a secret. I have a feeling who I want her to be, which is probably not who she's going to be. I think she will be a perfect Storm.
this is okay. So here's my thing. When we talk Storm and we talk mutants, I would be very shocked if Marvel really brings Storm in Wakanda Forever, especially when they haven't quite revealed when they're going to be bringing in mutants. Even though, of course, we know with Miss Marvel they hinted at it.
WandaVision.
I
They did
would.
hint at WandaVision.
This is
WandaVision,
my
it was the
thing.
first thing they did when she did the flashback.
Yeah, I will say this. I do if they show Michaela as Storm, I am not against it, but they better do Storm right. That is my only thing about the about Marvel now having X-Men and introducing, mutants and how they have. If you're going to give me Storm better be done right. Storm was the leader of the X-Men. She was strong. She was involved. Like, they slowly faded Halle Berry out and elevated Wolverine and made Wolverine, running the school and leader of the X-Men. Like, cut the crap. That, again, I'm going off of TV knowledge of the cartoon as a kid. That was not what Wolverine was. Wolverine was an animal. He was a wild card. He had to be tamed and controlled. Storm
I don't know why
led
y'all
it.
act like y'all don't know why this is. Y'all
Oh,
know
I
why
know why it is.
Wolverine is
No,
in these
we
new
know why
movies.
it is. What I'm saying is, I think that I just want them to do justice to, at least from, I don't want to say from the comic books, but at least from the cartoon, like the Fox cartoon when we were kids. Like, give Storm number 1, Rogue number 2, and then on down the line. But Rogue, I think they might have done Rogue more of a disservice than Storm.
Oh, definitely. They
Yeah,
played with
I
us.
actually will. Let me take that back. Storm wasn't given the worst treatment. Rogue was. Rogue, I don't even know what the hell Fox was doing with Rogue, but Storm, make Storm what she's supposed to be, make Rogue what they're supposed to be, Cyclops and all of them, instead of putting, whomever they choose for Wolverine at the forefront. That's not what we want to see. Give us what we want to see, especially, and then that's why I think it's also going to be interesting if they do make Michaela Cole Storm, because then you need a T'Challa. Like, why would Storm be in Wakanda? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
I can see it being connected a few different ways. I don't know. I feel like they've been hinting about the X-Men. We're getting music. We're seeing Charles
Yeah.
Xavier. I don't feel like it's outrageous or a wild card for them to bring out Storm in Wakanda Forever. Now, I'm not saying that she's going to be like a main feature. Not saying that. But I am saying there is a possibility because of the relationship that she had with T'Challa for her to show up.
And then the fact that there's a lot of stuff that's unknown about Wakanda. They were so isolated from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
She could have always existed. Now that we know that Miss Marvel has this mutant gene, we know that WandaVision also had powers well before she actually touched the Infinity Stone, because you find that out in the origin when she's under the thing and she hears the bomb going off and she used her powers to stop the bomb. And that was the first hint that she's always had them. So I think that what we're going to find out, if they do the X-Men the way that it's seeming like they might do, they could easily make it so that the X-Men have been here. But, there's also that fear of people finding out what you can do and the results that come from that. So people like Storm could have very well existed there and not had to worry about it. But I think that, oh man, I just think I want them to do it right. I hope they make Rogue. I hope they give us a tease to Rogue at the end of the Marvels, because I do want her to actually take Carol Danvers' powers. And there's actually a comic book I was reading of Captain Marvel where it showed the effects of that, because she ends up recovering. She ends up getting her powers back in the comic that I was watching, but sis is going through trauma. Like, she sees Rogue and someone takes over Rogue and is able to control her, and she's panicking the whole time, because the whole time she's scared that she's going to get right back into this vegetable state that she was in, because it was so easy for it to happen before. I need for that to be shown on TV.
Yeah, I would be. I think, like you said, I do agree with you, Kayla. They have definitely been hinting at the mutants. They've been given, obviously, you know, with Doctor Strange, they showed it, even though it was a different multiverse, they brought it in. And again, with this past, literally today, with the last episode of Miss Marvel, hearing that music and saying, you know, it's mute, your genes are mutated. So yeah, I can see them slowly kind of putting those subtle hints in there. But yeah, and they are doing a Wakanda series. I know that Ryan Coogler, as I was trying to find this, I did run across an article that said that Ryan Coogler is actually, you know what? I think I have it here and I'll show it really quickly if I can. They talk about some of the shows that are coming, Quantumania, blah, blah, blah. There was one, I think they showed that, yeah, Ryan Coogler is currently writing or developing Wakanda. So they're going to have a show that's called Wakanda. Yeah, Ryan Coogler is developing the new Disney Plus series that'll tell. I'm reading this and y'all can't see it. Ryan Coogler is developing a new Disney Plus series that'll tell the story from Wakanda. So I think that could possibly flesh that out. And the Okoye spinoff, wouldn't want an Okoye spinoff, but a Dora Milaje spinoff. You know, I kind of feel the same way about Valkyrie. Like there are some of those warrior stories I would love to see. But I think it'll be really interesting. Look, I've had y'all literally longer than I totally expected, but I knew that we could talk Marvel.
Girl, we could talk for another 2 hours.
Our last episode of the podcast was 3 hours, and we didn't even realize it. We were so deep into Thor Love and Thunder.
That is funny. See, Savin, again, reading. Don't be
and I agree, Brian.
Don't tell nobody I'm spoiling nothing.
I wanted them to leave Miss Marvel as being an Inhuman because I wanted them to be able to truly introduce the Inhumans. But now that they've converted her to a mutant, I mean, that means we're getting the X-Men, but that also means that we have kind of eliminated this whole group, at least in this universe. So.
Okay. So yeah, I think the Inhumans, that's a show. I haven't done the Inhumans.
Oh, it was not good. Don't even worry about it. Pretend like it didn't happen.
And then I will. And like that, I absolutely will. Yeah, it seems like, I know that people were hoping that we got into the idea of Inhumans and what, you know, Inhumans, mutants, and it seems like the Inhumans storyline doesn't seem to be working its way into phase 4, maybe even phase 5. It seems they're focusing primarily on, you know, mutants. I think that's where they're going. And let's just keep it a buck. You know, X-Men, that's a fan favorite. You talk X-Men, we could talk, like I said, that could be a whole nother episode. So it seems like they're going to go heavy on the mutant side of it. I am totally fine with it. I love the X-Men TV show as a kid. I mean, Saturday mornings, Fox and AB's, like I was watching. Right, like you hear, like I said, I'm watching Miss Marvel, and now you hear it. I was like, oh, hey, like it's so iconic, and I'm excited the idea of bringing in the mutants, and bringing in X-Men, and even Deadpool 3. Well, Deadpool is
She hasn't seen Deadpool. She has not seen Deadpool. Yeah, I'm gonna call you out on all the things you should have seen that you have not seen. Deadpool, at least the first one. The second one was not as good as the first one, but the first one was good.
We keep our shade in house, okay?
I'm gonna make a whole Facebook post. You're welcome. Yeah, she has not seen Deadpool.
I don't know what to say.
Nothing. You say nothing.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
This is the stuff I have to deal with.
Then there's that. I will say Deadpool 3. It'll be interesting to see how they want to put that in there, specifically the R-rated stuff. So I know Blade, I think they've said that Blade's going to be hard R. Deadpool is a very strong R. Deadpool's a R+. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how they bring in some of the R-rated movies, like or R-rated characters like a Deadpool, and like Blade. But one thing I also read was that they haven't even, Ryan Reynolds has started to write Deadpool 3. So I don't even think that's coming anytime soon. And Blade, I watched the interview with Mahershala Ali, and I'm like, number one, he's older. And I don't know physically how well he would be in a character like Blade. I'll watch the movies. I promise y'all I'll watch the movies. And so Mahershala as Blade, I don't know how I quite feel about that yet, especially because it's like, well, when is that gonna happen? This dude is like 45, 50. Like, when are we getting Blade? Yeah, he's like in his 40s. He's not young. I mean, he's fine, but he ain't young.
Okay.
Unpopular opinion, Brian. I hate Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That's all. I'll walk away.
Okay, so Brian, we know that Hugh Jackman's not playing Wolverine. Hugh Jackman, I think he did a good Wolverine. But again, they elevated him and gave him all this other stuff. They
made him tall.
Right. They made he's tall and I did actually watch all the Wolverine movies. I think the only Wolverine movie that was really good was Logan. Logan was
spectacular.
Awesome. That was an awesome damn movie. I think having Hugh Jackman as Wolverine now I don't think it's necessary. And I think that he's a lot older and there are so many other younger actors who can play that. And I'm okay, and not trying to be ageist, but I'm okay with actors being like, hey, I'm a little aged out of this character and how you have it written. It can go to somebody younger and up and coming and elevating new actors. I'm totally fine with that. I feel like Hugh Jackman became a big name from Wolverine. We know who he is. Having him in the MCU, even Patrick Stewart. I'm like, y'all gonna quit working these older actors till the bone. Like y'all did that with.
That's why they let him stay in that chair, because they knew that he won't go be able to do that. They said, wheel him out there, because he couldn't walk. And when we did see him walk, he went through one door and stood. He said, I ain't got the energy to be doing all of this.
Let that man rest. I get it if they want, they're like, oh yeah, I can do it. But it's just like, let these people rest. I felt the same way. Even in Star Wars, they got James Earl Jones as the voice. I was like, he's 100. Let these people rest. Why y'all working them to the end?
Ahmed is that.
Can you imagine Darth Vader without?
They can figure it out. They can figure out the voice. I personally, because I know that they're going to have, I think they're going to use Hayden more. I think we're going to see more of Hayden in that Darth Vader role. Figure out the voice modulation. James Earl Jones, let that man rest. He has given us enough. He's given us enough. Let that man rest. So I'm going through the comments, y'all. I'm going through the comments. So any last thoughts? Like I said, I am not going to keep y'all till after 10. So any last thoughts which y'all got?
One of my last thoughts, Ahmed, yes, that is what I have argued on the Almost Blerds Podcast this entire time. Wolverine should not be standing 6'2". I still can't get over in the first X-Men movie when he was standing looking eye to eye to Sabretooth. That should have never happened. And the fact that people filmed that and they were okay, it was like, come on. That was a part of his whole character, that he was like, he had that Napoleon syndrome. He was short guy, real stocky, kind of crouched in, but he didn't take shit. Yeah. You got this big dude. Nah. I argued for a while about that. I was like, I don't care. He was good to me. No,
he was good to them because he was fine. That's why he was good to them.
I mean, he had body yaddy. I will agree. Like I said, with Fox's X-Men, I felt like the first movie was pretty good, but it just got so far from what people knew from I'll say the comic books, but specifically for me, the cartoon, they veered so far off that it just became like, I just think most people just disassociated. And I feel that way about, like you said, casting, the way they played the characters. This is one I may not have talked about. Taron Egerton for Wolverine. I need a 5'5" and shorter actor to play him. I don't know if Taron is 5'5", but I know he's under 6 feet. I think he's in that 5'8" range.
Are we sure?
That's better than standing 6'2".
Taron Egerton's not. He's not tall, but he's not 5'5". I know for a fact he's not 5'5". If I'm not mistaken, he's in that 5'8" range.
Mentioned Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
I saw. Here we
People
go.
talking
Daniel
about him
Radcliffe.
too.
Yeah, and I think I think I saw
he's
something
so
recently where he
funny.
had a beard, and he would need to do a significant
He would
bulking.
do a lot of he might not be able to
because
get big.
he's definitely still giving I'm Tom Sawyer kind of vibes to me, and
Yeah,
you're gonna have to eat. We're gonna need some bulking.
he
But
would have to get. If it was Daniel Radcliffe, he would absolutely have to get on the Marvel diet. Like he would have to, and like you said, he's not like a Chris Pratt or a oh God, what's his name? Who plays Ant-Man? Paul Rudd.
Paul
He's
Rudd.
not like I'm a not so in shape guy. I just need to just tighten it up and look good. He's just smaller. So he's gotta eat, he's gotta bulk up, in my opinion, Daniel Radcliffe, for that. So yeah, Taron Egerton is 5'9", according to Google. He's 5'9". So he's definitely shorter than the Wolverine that we've seen, but I think 5'9" could be a good Wolverine. I definitely think it could be a good Wolverine.
I just don't need him standing this tall. Like as long as they give him a little bit like he can be my height. I'm 5'7". I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Wolverine could be 5'7".
He was 5'5".
He's 5'5" with brown eyes.
Yeah, he's 5'5" and will also get carried away in a strong wind at his current state because he's got to be like 140.
Yeah, I agree. I think Daniel Radcliffe. I would have to see it to believe it, like to believe him as a Wolverine. But I think Taron has a little bit more of that bulk, and the reason why I also think Taron would be good was because of how good he did in Kingsman. And how athletic in those scenes in Kingsman. And I think he has a little bit of that. He can play that like cocky charisma. So I could see more Taron in Wolverine than Daniel Radcliffe. I'm gonna get through these comments, y'all, as we close out. Go ahead, Kayla. Last thoughts. What you think?
Wow. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't have anything. Well,
look, tell everybody. But listen, tell everyone where they can catch your podcast, any social medias. Let everyone know where they can find you guys.
Okay, well, like we said earlier, we have podcast Almost Blerds. It's streaming everywhere. You can listen to it on any streaming platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever else they host podcasts. You can find us on social media at basically anywhere at Almost Blerds, except for Twitter. I ain't no tweeter. But we got Facebook and Instagram, which we don't really do much with our Facebook, but we do engage a little bit more on Instagram. So yeah, Almost Blerds Podcast. We talk a lot about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and anything else nerdy. I try to throw in video game things here and there, but I'm the only
which I know nothing about, but you know.
But yeah, so.
Well, yeah. I would love to be in you guys' podcast if you have guests. I would love to nerd out. I'm always.
We never had a guest yet either.
Yeah, we were actually talking about potentially do that. So we just want to make sure we got good chemistry. We like to talk about things, and you already saw how foolish I was in the group chat, so you knew what you were getting into.
Yes, no, but
same Almost Blerds.
Yes, Almost Blerds. Y'all definitely check out the podcast. It was absolutely fun having you guys on. Like I said, I was like, okay, I'm doing good. I'm gonna keep you guys in, but I felt like we got on some of the subjects. I was like, I'm gonna keep it until Kayla say I gotta go, or y'all say I gotta go. But I thought the conversation was great. Everyone in the chat, you guys are awesome too. But thank you guys. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, JB, so much for being on today. And again, guys, make sure you are checking out Almost Blerds. You guys have a good rest of y'all evening. I'm gonna have you guys go first, and then I'm gonna close everything out. But thank you guys so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. So everyone, yes, we had a 2-hour show. We did a 2-hour show, and like I said, I could go on and on and on. But I really want to thank again immensely my guests, Kayla and JB. You guys told us what you think about Phase 4. We are going to see how that goes. It is 10 on the dot. I'm going to close this out. I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. Thank you so much for tuning into the Big Auntie Energy Show. Again, I am Shanice. We talked all things Marvel. I told y'all we were going to spoil. I saw some of the comments. Some I ain't see it yet. It don't matter. I told you we was going to spoil it. For those watching the replay, definitely put your comments below. I love reading the comments. I chat back all the time. Next week, we'll have more fun, more news, more everything, new guests. But this was really great. And it was always fun talking Marvel with all of my friends. So I appreciate everyone being here and definitely those who stuck around for the 2 hours. Y'all have a great weekend. I will see you next week on the Big Auntie Energy Show. I'm going to take this makeup off and get like uncute because this is too much. But I love you guys. Thank y'all. Have a good one. Peace.